This wrestling radio show may contain strong language that may be offensive to those under the age of 18. If you are under the age of 18, please get permission to listen to this episode. Enjoy, comment, and subscribe. Coming up next on the Saturday edition of the RCWR show, we're going to be taking a crack at the Survivor Series pay-per-view as it's match prediction time, folks. It's another installment of our Call That Match series where I'm going to be offering match predictions for Sunday's pay-per-view. Also, we'll take a look back at some great moments from Survivor Series history. We'll try to narrow it down to top 10 greatest Survivor Series matches. It's the RCWR show, and it begins right now.
Hold one, arm drag. Whoa! This is
Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
hold two, arm bar.
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Sodas rule.
Yeah, they do.
Hold three, the moss-covered three-handle family gradunzel.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., this is the RCWR Show with your host, Lee Sanders.
Want to welcome you all to this Saturday edition of the RCWR Show. I am, of course, as always, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders, and I thank you all for checking out this episode right now live on blogtalkradio.com, over at our sister website at infinityOneproductions.com, and also on Stitcher. Mad shout out to our Stitcher family that continues to grow. So, over the course of the next hour, we're going to be talking about Survivor Series. I'm going to be offering you all match predictions for Sunday's pay-per-view. I'm going to let you know who I think is going to be walking away victorious. Let you know how I would be booking the winners from a writing standpoint and from a creative standpoint. And as I said earlier, we're going to be also covering some really great Survivor Series moments. You know, we have a lot of fans that'll sit up and say Survivor Series just isn't what it used to be. What happened to those good old days? We feel where you're coming from. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you some of what I thought is the greatest Survivor Series matches that I've seen thus far. And I can't take all the credit for this list that I'll be sharing with you all in the later part of the show. But when I saw the order of this list, I, without a doubt, put my seal of approval on it. It is exactly the way I would have done it if I were to sit down and create a list myself. Y'all will appreciate it. You veteran WWE fans, new WWE fans, not really that familiar with the Survivor Series and the tradition, y'all will welcome these matches. Nice little homework assignment for y'all as y'all gear up for the 26th installment of the Survivor Series pay-per-view. So, Survivor Series, what looks to be right now a decent pay-per-view, when you look at the matches on paper, we know originally, at least a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, this pay-per-view really was not worth checking out. You didn't even have the WWE Championship on the line. My, how much a difference a week makes, where now the WWE Championship is going to be on the line, and on top of that, it's not even going to be in a one-on-one type of match. It is going to be a triple threat match where Punk will have to defend it against Ryback and John Cena. And just bearing in mind that CM Punk had came fresh off of a controversial victory over Ryback at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, you would think that maybe it would be CM Punk Ryback 2 one-on-one. That's not the case. Now that we have a monkey wrench known as John Cena thrown into the mix, I can't help but wonder if the company feels Ryback is not quite ready to go one-on-one and just straight up regular pay-per-view singles matches. Great concern right there. It should be interesting to see how he does this Sunday, folks. But without a doubt, I'm a little bit concerned about what direction they are trying to go with Ryback there. But nonetheless, the cards have been shaken up just a little bit as a result of CM Punk no longer being the team captain to take on Team Mick Foley. We now saw Dolph Ziggler slide on in, and we also saw Mick Foley be able to recruit The Miz. That's right, Mick Foley was able to recruit The Miz courtesy of the WWE fans in a Raw Active poll where they were able to choose they would like to see be the newest member of Team Foley, and the selections were Zack Ryder, Santino Marella, and The Miz was thrown in there at possibly the very last minute, but overwhelmingly he won by a huge margin. At least just over 60% of the votes had came in for him. And we have now seen a little bit of a shakeup on that Survivor Series card. And as I said, it looks good on paper, but as far as the execution, that's going to be an entirely different story. No, originally it did look like a snoozer, but now it actually looks promising. Let's talk about this card. Let's take it up from the very top. Now, as of this recording, we know what the pre-show is going to be for Sunday. And the pre-show is as follows. Santino Marella and Zack Ryder taking on two members of 3MB, which is either going to be Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, and or Drew McIntyre. So there's your tag match right there for a YouTube pre-show, and this should be a welcome breath of fresh air for those of you that had unfortunately saw the last YouTube pre-show, which was for Hell in a Cell, where all we had got was a lame Q&A segment with John Cena, which really did not have enough kick to it, in my honest opinion. Glad that we now go into the next month. We let it be about wrestling and not about talking. So here we have this pre-show. You know, I don't quite like the whole combination of Jinder Mahal, Drew McIntyre being thrown in there with Heath Slater kind of mooching off of his mojo that he had going on there as the one-man band, as it's now a three-man band. But it is what it is. WWE, they see something in this tag team trio right now. And I just see no reason why their momentum would be halted at this pre-show. Honestly, the win would do justice for them. Santino Marella, Zack Ryder, from what we've been able to see within recent weeks, they've been kind of jobbing to other folks, trying to put other teams over and all that. I don't see why that would suddenly change. So I know it's a pre-show, but the fact that we're all going to be able to check it out, we have access to it. As far as I'm concerned, it does count. I'm going to go with the members of 3MB for the victory. All right, let's go to the official Jumpstart card of the Survivor Series pay-per-view, where we see Antonio Cesaro is going to be taking on R-Truth for the United States Championship. Now, you know, this match right here really doesn't have that much substance to it. Not really that much you can sink your teeth into as far as feeling invested into the storyline. As right now, pretty much the gist that we have of it, Antonio Cesaro, he doesn't like the way R-Truth looks, doesn't like the way he talks, doesn't like the way he dresses, bashes him for having a imaginary friend. You go to R-Truth side of things, R-Truth, he just wants to shut this guy up. He's looking to become a 2-time United States champion. So not really much to work with, but there you have it. These two guys, they're going to be getting it on. You know, these two men, I must admit, I like them quietly, patiently, though. I am waiting for R-Truth go back to being a heel. It's just something that he did so damn good last year. I know I'm probably, like many others, holding the breath there. But R-Truth, Antonio Cesaro, you know, I don't really like the odds that R-Truth has in this match for this United States title. I just don't see it happening. You know, if I were to book this, you know, the way I would like for it to happen, I would actually love for R-Truth to get the United States title, because it's really time. I mean, he was floating around there in limbo when he had all those weird things going on. One minute he was teaming up with Miz, then he was teaming up with Kofi, and now it seems like Kofi, he has just gone his own separate way there for a bit, and R-Truth is just kind of left dangling in the wind. You know, I would love to see R-Truth get the United States Championship just so he could kind of be a bit relevant again, because right now, as I say, he's kind of in limbo right now. That would be the way I would book it. But the way that Antonio Cesaro has been coming off within recent weeks, you know, as I said a couple of weeks back, his promos really hadn't been that strong ever since Ascana had got pulled away from him. Seemed like he's been going at it solo, and he was kind of struggling there for a little bit. But now it seems like he's starting to grow more and more comfortable in his skin. He's getting more comfortable in that Cesaro character, and I like how we saw him come out this past Monday night on Raw, and he had a little fanny pack or book bag or laptop case. I don't know what it was he had there, but I kind of like how he's kind of doing these little things to try to create a little bit more personality. Love the vintage promos, if you will, that he's been making, insulting Americans, the way they eat, their dieting, the way that a lot of them look physically. You know, it kind of gives me a nice little throwback to how promos used to be cut back in the early 90s, late 80s. Nice little throwback vibe to it. And, you know, way I'm looking at it right now, I got Cesaro going over R-Truth. I don't really see any type of a strong indication that Cesaro would drop the title to R-Truth. Cesaro, he's really hot right now. He's still got a ton of heat, as the fans really don't like him worth a damn. Cesaro, I got him over R-Truth. Said, you know, enough said. Let's just go on with the next match. Alright, so next up we got the Divas Championship on the line, as Eve Torres is going to be taking on Kaitlyn. This is unfortunately a match I could really care less about, and I'm going to tell you guys the reason why I could care less about this match, and I think a majority of you all may agree with me. Kaitlyn has no business being in the ring right now. I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. She has that look. I love her look, okay? She's got that nice kind of muscular build there going on, nice little tiny waist. I mean, I love all that. She reminds me of a nice updated version, younger version at that, of Miss Ivory. You guys remember Ivory. Come on, I should be able to mention that name. You should know exactly who I'm talking about. But she reminds me exactly like her to a certain extent. She nowhere is near what Ivory was able to do in the ring, but I love Kaitlyn in that aspect, but I just feel Kaitlyn is still very green. I just don't feel that she's not quite ready yet. I think she needs to go back to NXT for a bit and continue to hone her craft a little more. I don't know, it's just whatever I've seen of her in the ring, it's just really hasn't been enough. It's just a little bit of buzzkill. And I mean, if you want to know exactly, what I'm talking about, I want you to go back to, I believe it was Hell in a Cell last month, where Eve had to defend the Divas Championship against Layla and Kaitlyn in a triple threat match. And I want you guys to go back to that match, because you'll notice in that match that when it's all said and done, Kaitlyn kind of took the wind out of that match. I mean, Eve and Layla, they were throwing it down, but it kind of seemed like they had to hold back more because Kaitlyn was in the ring. And to sum it up in a nutshell, folks, she just really comes off still inexperienced. Okay? And, I know Eve is going to try to do everything that she can to really try to sell Kaitlyn. But really, the sooner this match ends, the better. Now, with regards to this being for the Divas Championship, I got Eve retaining. Eve, I mean, she's so freaking hot right now. She knows how to wrestle damn good in that ring. I mean, to say that she's come a long way is a freaking understatement. I see no reason why the belt would be coming off Eve Torres this Sunday. Eve for the retain, hands down. All right, let's move on now with our next match, where we have the World Heavyweight Championship on the line, as Big Show is going to be taking on Sheamus. The thing that I like about this match, and I just want to tease you guys for a little bit. You know what? I want to skip that match on purpose. I know maybe you guys are saying, well, why don't you just go ahead and cover it? No. Let's come back to that. Let's go with the next match. Let's go with the Survivor Series elimination tag match, where we have Dolph Ziggler's team, which consists of Team Rhodes Scholars, Damien Sandow, and Cody Rhodes, Wade Barrett, Alberto Del Rio, of course. You got to have Ziggler in there himself, as they're going to be taking on Team Foley, which consists of The Miz, Kofi Kingston, Team Hell Knows, Kane and Daniel Bryan, and the Viper, Randy Orton. So we got a 5-on-5 elimination tag match. This pretty much boils down to who really needs this win more, who can really get more momentum from winning this match going forward. And I mean, hands down, this Survivor Series match, it's going to take up quite a bit of time if they do this right. It has all the greatest potential in the world to be a show stealer, especially when you got Cody Rhodes in there, you got Barrett in there, Kofi in there, Bryan in there. You're going to see some high spots, no doubt about it. So let's get all that out the way right now. We know it's going to be a good Survivor tag match. The question is, who needs the win? Which team needs the win more? And quite honestly, if I were to book this right, I would let... It's a tough one. It is a tough one, I must admit. I would go for the team of Foley. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm going to go with the team of Foley. Miz, no doubt about it, from what we've seen in recent weeks, Miz looks to be going down that path of a baby face. We already have begun seeing the slow hints, the little subtle hints, that is, that Miz is going to be going down that road of being a baby face, and I'm all for it, especially with the buzz coming out that he's getting ready to do a holiday movie for the WWE. Looks like that might be going to come out directly to DVD. So nice little good timing that's going on for the Miz right now. Kofi Kingston, he's been just on fire since he has gotten the Intercontinental Championship. What's really going to be interesting in that match is if the Miz and Kofi Kingston can coexist. Miz, knowing that Kofi has defeated him 4 times straight now, he just does not have Kofi's number. That's going to be some very interesting things to watch right there, is if Miz can coexist with Kingston. And then you go to the other side, you got Kane and Daniel Bryan, one of the most dysfunctional tag teams in perhaps WWE history. You got to try to see how these two guys are going to be able to get along. They're going to have to put that extra focus on, because there's a lot that's at stake right here. Randy Orton, the way he plays into all this, hey, just the fact that you have Alberto Del Rio in there. Randy Orton is probably, he's going to be doing his thing, but hey, if he is able to get his hands on Alberto Del Rio, he's going to be just straight and narrow. He's going to be just one single-minded and focusing on Del Rio. So, you got all these ingredients that's happening right there. Now, you go over to the other side, you got Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, you could kind of say that maybe Dolph Ziggler could use this win. But I got other things planned for Dolph Ziggler. I think you guys see where I'm going with this. Damien, Sandow, Cody, Rhodes, I love those guys to death, but they kind of just seem to be a little bit in purgatory right now. This really wouldn't do them any good to be able to get a win. Not to mention you got Cody Rhodes in there as well. Cody Rhodes is another one that kind of seems like he's just been kind of stuck at limbo for a little bit. And we all know what's been going on with Del Rio as of late. He's pretty much been jobbing to people, what have you. Wouldn't surprise me if maybe Alberto Del Rio might have bumped into Rosa Mendez. I got my beautiful Latin women mixed up there, folks. Wouldn't surprise me if he maybe bumped into Rosa Mendez just before the match, or if maybe she came on now, tried to wish him luck or whatever. But, when it's all said and done, Team Foley, that team really needs the win. This needs to be about the baby faces. Let's have the baby faces go over. Thus, this could set up the illusion, if you want to create that illusion, that Dolph Ziggler, being hot-headed that his team lost, he could be looking to get a little bit of retribution later on in the night, and that would be a really great way you can have the fans buzzing over, is it possible that Dolph Ziggler may cash in the briefcase? As we all know, it's somewhat become a running gag now. So, yeah, Team Foley, they need to pick up the win. Put that illusion out there that Dolph Ziggler could possibly cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase, which now brings us to the Big Show versus Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship match. From what we had saw last month, those two guys, hands down, they had a phenomenal match. It was one of those matches that was rated as one of the best matches that Big Show has ever done as a singles competitor. A lot of folks, they put it high up there for Big Show matches. A lot of people now have a newfound respect for Mr. Paul White. And, hands down, if you still haven't checked out that match yet that they had at Hell in a Cell, highly recommend that you do to get ready for their Survivor Series rematch. But these two guys, once again, it's going to be like two bulls. They're going to be going at it. I'm looking forward to this. I'm actually hoping that they can top what they did at Hell in a Cell, because really, when it's all said and done, it's going to be hard to top it. But with these two guys in the right type of crowd, right type of night, Sunday night, yeah, it's got all the ingredients in the world to really be another show stealer. Now, unfortunately, this is one of those type of matches where it's only going to be another singles match. There's no gimmick around it. So, at this point, I think that's fine. I know some people were complaining that it wasn't a gimmick match this time around. I don't think you do a gimmick match until you're trying to put a book in to the rivalry. So I'm all for it being a straight up singles match for the second time, for the second month in a row. Now, as far as who could use this win, who needs this win? Big Show, hands down. I like Big Show, but, you know, the real question is, do we see Dolph Ziggler come on out and try to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase? Now, for you guys that need a refresher of a memory, I want you guys to bear in mind that Dolph Ziggler shockingly did not pop up on the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view last month. Now, although we might have got John Cena for the pre-show, I believe it was, we didn't see John Cena for the rest of the night. But Dolph Ziggler was pretty much the same type of deal. He also had kind of popped up there on the pre-show, but it's kind of interesting there that that had happened last month, and now you go into this month. You know, you do kind of have to sit up and wonder, is the night going to be the night that Dolph Ziggler finally cashes in that Money in the Bank briefcase? And if not, then when? Now, I've already offered my opinions on this, and I'll go on record again. I don't think Dolph Ziggler may be cashing in that Money in the Bank briefcase until pretty much the beginning of 2013. I mean, he's been having it this long. I see really no indication why he would do it again. But just for the sake of the argument, if I were to be booking this, I would have Sheamus and Big Show involved in another grueling contest that would just be so draining physically. You know, these two guys just really going at it. I would have the match end in a way where Sheamus does the bro kick to the Big Show, and Big Show delivers the WMD, and both of them just fall on the ground. And then you could just see perhaps either Sheamus end up having his hand over Big Show, and the ref counts 1, 2, 3. Sheamus is crowned the new World Heavyweight Champion, or it could be Big Show, but I think it would be more suited if it was Sheamus. And then you could just continue to have those two guys be laid out. The referee, he's trying to wake both men up. They aren't really coming around. You see Dolph Ziggler, he comes on now. He cashes in that Money in the Bank briefcase, and he just picks up the scraps, and he's the new champion. And that could just set up all three of these guys to be involved in some type of a triple threat match at the next pay-per-view. That's the way I would do it. But if you're asking me straight up, just for this match, what it's worth, who could win between Big Show, Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship, just minus Dolph Ziggler and all that, I would just go with Big Show for the retain. All right, and let's go with our next match, folks, which is our last one of the evening, which sees the WWE Champion CM Punk taking on Ryback and John Cena. Triple threat WWE Championship. As I mentioned at the top of the show, very interesting here that Ryback is now in a position where he's not taking on the WWE Champion one-on-one. No. He is now in a position where he's facing two men, and really this could be a strong indication that WWE is trying their best to protect Ryback because they don't want him to look exposed for being weak in the ring. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. I mean, we saw some pretty good stuff in that Hell in a Cell match, and that was perfect because that was a gimmick match. He served his purpose well in that. Not to mention, you throw in Brad Maddox, Paul Heyman, great elements right there. Of course, CM Punk, great elements right there, great ingredients. But now you go into this match, and you got a triple threat. This is really about CM Punk and John Cena. Now, don't get me wrong. Ryback is going to have a few spots in there. Of course, one of the main spots I could see happening is when Ryback and John Cena finally do lock it up. And you notice how they were kind of teasing it there past few Raws where it would end with John Cena just looking on at Ryback and the two of them. They didn't even go into it. They're just holding on to that until Survivor Series. They're going to try to go for that Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan moment, the battle of the strengths. And I could just imagine on Sunday that when Ryback and John Cena finally lock it up, they're going to be staring each other down, and I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to embrace each other in an arm lock, that traditional little hand-to-hand arm lock, try to struggle it out, battle for power, and I could for certainty see that play out. And, it's one of those type of matches that I think it has one of the greatest potentials to be a really great solid match. But that's what I see happening with Ryback. Of course, CM Punk, Ryback, if there was any indication of what we saw with last month's pay-per-view, we can expect the way they were operating then to happen this Sunday. But really, the story is going to be about CM Punk and John Cena. There's just no way I see Ryback just squashing the hell out of John Cena, CM Punk. This is going to be a brutal contest. This is going to be a match that's going to happen in a way where the one question you have to say to yourself is, we know CM Punk is going to win. And for those of you that is actually going against CM Punk, look, he's keeping that belt warm for The Rock. I've been saying it for I don't know how many months. Why you want to pick against CM Punk and go at Ryback, I have no clue. But CM Punk is going to retain. The real question is, who does he get that win off of? Now, keep in mind, folks, of what we had saw on Raw this past Monday night. We saw Brad Maddox just get squashed in what turned out to be an ambulance match just a little bit before he had a conversation with Paul Heyman. What that conversation was about, we don't know, but he had a conversation with Paul Heyman, then he goes out for that match against Ryback, and he just gets squashed. It was almost like he laid down for Ryback. Don't be too surprised if maybe, just maybe, Maddox might play a part in this match. Don't be too surprised by that, folks. He might try to put himself in a position where he once again costs Ryback another chance at winning the WWE Championship. Okay? Now, you want to talk about who CM Punk might be able to pin in this match. Now, look at the way the commentators have been talking about Ryback. They say he has one blemish on his record, which really doesn't count because the referee was tainted. It was a rigged match. So they're kind of talking as if it really didn't happen. He's still a dominating force. I see no reason why CM Punk would be able to get a clean win over Ryback or a controversial pin over Ryback. I think what's going to end up happening right here is I think CM Punk will be able to pin John Cena to be able to retain his championship. Now, if there is no Brad Maddox controversy surrounding this match, then it's highly probable that CM Punk could finally get a pin over John Cena without there being some type of controversy or other people involved, all that other silly stuff. It's kind of rare we see John Cena get pinned cleanly in the middle of the ring. This could be a case that could happen this Sunday night. But regardless of all the scenarios that I just painted out, CM Punk retains. There you have it, folks. Now, let's recap one more time for you guys. Let's take it up to the very top. We'll work our way back down. For the YouTube pre-show, I have the three-man band. Doesn't matter who it consists of, but I have the three-man band going over Santino, Marella, and Zack Ryder, a.k.a. Cole Bro. For the United States Championship, I have Cesaro over R-Truth. For the Divas Championship, I have the lovely Eve Torres retaining over Kaitlyn. For our Survivor Series Elimination Tag Team match, I have Team Foley getting the victory over Team Ziggler. For the World Heavyweight Championship, I have Big Show going over Sheamus. Put a question mark by that match. Dolph Ziggler could do the unthinkable and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Otherwise, Big Show for the retain. And for the WWE Championship, I have CM Punk retaining and going on to Monday Night's Raw to solidify his longest reign of WWE Champion even more, as he's going to be boosting that whole 365 days as the WWE Champion. You know it's going to happen, folks. He's going to be probably celebrating with confetti and all. And that's going to do it for those predictions, folks. All right, so, I want to briefly talk about some really great Survivor Series matches that I feel you guys should check out. Now, for you veteran WWE, WWF fans, you'll remember these matches that I'm getting ready to announce, but this is for mainly our younger fans that are new to wrestling and they want to get that true taste of what the Survivor Series was like, because when it's all said and done, I can remember being much younger and loving when the Survivor Series had rolled around, because it was all about those elimination tag matches. And we just saw some really great, phenomenal stuff back then. It was really something to be really excited about. It used to be a time where the championship really wasn't even on the line. It was just all about the Survivor Series matches, that main event, which was the elimination tag match. And a lot of people will argue that the Survivor Series is really not what it used to be. Well, maybe that tradition can kind of be brought back this Sunday with that Team Foley versus Team Ziggler. Has all the right ingredients in the world. But here I want to share with you 10 Survivor Series matches that I think you should go check out when you get a free moment. And YouTube would be your best friend to try to see if you can check out some of these matches. Or if you happen to know somebody that has a pretty massive wrestling DVD collection, maybe you can go over their house. Maybe you can see some of these matches from their WWE collection if they have a lot of these Survivor Series matches that I'm getting ready to name. And I don't take all the credit for this list. This list was submitted to me by one of our listeners, and he has suggested that we read this list on the air because he felt it was a pretty solid list. And so we're showing that love right now. I definitely agree with this list. It's got my seal of approval. There are other Survivor Series matches that he did talk about, but I wanted to just crop it down, talk about the top 10. So it goes as follows. Doug Furnace, Phil LaFon, and the Godwins. They had took on Owen Hart, Davey Boy Smith, and the New Rockers. That was back in November 1996 in New York, New York. It's a good one to check out. At number 9, The Rock, The Undertaker, Kane, Chris Jericho, and Big Show versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Booker T, and Shane McMahon. That was back in November 2001 in Greensboro, North Carolina. Number 8, the Powers of Pain, the Hart Foundation, the Rockers, the British Bulldogs, and the Young Stallions. They had took on Demolition, the Brainbusters, Los Conquerdos, the Fabulous Ruog Brothers, and the Bozloxless. I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong. That was from November of 1988. At number 7, Randy Orton, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Maven. There's a name I have not said in a long time. Was that first Tough Enough contestant winner, Maven? They defeated the team of Triple H, Batista, Edge, and Gene Snitsky, November 2004, Cleveland, Ohio. At number 6, Ric Flair, Ted DiBiase, the Warlord, and the Monty. I remember that guy. That was my boy. Defeated Roddy Piper, Bret Hart, Davey Boy Smith, and Virgil, November 1991, Detroit, Michigan. At number 5, Skip, Rad Radford, Tom Pritchard, and the 1-2-3 Kid, a.k.a. Sean Waltman, a.k.a. X-Pac. They defeated Marty Jannetty, Barry Horowitz, Hukazu, and Bob Holly, the Underdogs, November 1995 in Landover, Maryland. At number 4, Batista, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, and JBL, then known as Team SmackDown, defeated Shawn Michaels, Kane, Big Show, Carlito, and Chris Masters, which consisted of being Team Raw, November 2005 in Detroit, Michigan. Number 3, Razor Ramon, Macho Man Randy Savage, Marty Jannetty, and the 1-2-3 Kid defeated IRS, your taxes are due, Diesel, woo woo, Rick Martel, and Adam Bomb. That was from November 1993, Boston, Massachusetts. At number 2, Strikeforce, Young Stallions, Killer Bees, British Bulldogs, and the Fabulous Ruggalo Brothers defeated Hart Foundation, Demolition, the Islanders, the Dream Team, and the Bolverskis. That was from November 1987. And number 1, Chris Jericho, Christian, Randy Orton, Mark Henry, and Scott Steiner, which was Team Bischoff, defeated Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Rob Van Dam, and the Dudley Boys. That was Team Austin, November 2003 in Dallas, Texas. Check that out. Pretty freaking solid. Highly recommend that you check those matches out. You won't be disappointed. And you can thank me later. Alright, so what are your match predictions? We'd love to hear from you. Hit us up on Twitter at Infinity1Prod. You can also hit us up on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. While you're at it, you can also be sure to like our page on Facebook. Not too many people are aware that they can like our page and also befriend us. So make sure you do those. And we appreciate the love right there. Of course, all this coverage that we're doing for the Survivor Series is leading up to another solid installment of the RCWR Post Show, where we're going to be covering the fallout from Sunday's pay-per-view. I'll give you my honest overall takeaway of the event, analysis. I'll give it an honest review. And the best part about the show, as always, we'll have live fan reactions. So, if you plan on checking out Survivor Series this Sunday, then be sure you join us for the RCWR Post Show. And let us know what you thought of the pay-per-view. If you thought it was a hiss, if you thought it was a hit or a miss is what I was trying to say. Try saying that 10 times fast. That's a real tongue twister, folks. And that's going to do it for right now. I do thank you guys so humbly for checking out this episode. And the talk of wrestling, it never stops just because we go off the air. It continues over at our website at infinityoneproductions.com. Check it out for all the very latest in wrestling related news and so much more. Also be sure to subscribe to us in the iTunes, Zune marketplaces. Just use the keywords, the RCWR show. Can't stress it enough. If you've been listening to our show for a long time and you love what we do, then go into the iTunes, Zune marketplaces. Leave those reviews for us. The more reviews that we have for the show, the higher up the ranks we move, the more popular we become. So if you really appreciate the show, give that gesture. It really goes a long way. And hey, if you let us know that you submitted a review for us, we'll actually give you a shout out on the air. So, mad power to you if you're able to do that for us. We really appreciate it. But yeah, the more ratings that we have, the better. So leave those positive reviews for us. Let us know how we're doing and everything if you appreciate the show. Even if you're a new listener, but you've been appreciating all the great content we've been putting up, hey, we love it. Put that review up there for us. Let us know how we're doing. Let's get this show really up there so other people are able to come across it without any problems. That's going to do it for now. We're going to be on a 20-plus hour break until this Sunday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for the RCWR post show covering Survivor Series. Until we hear from you all then, I am the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. You all be safe and you all be kind to one another, folks. We'll see you this Sunday. Do take care.